Are you here? Welcome. It's episode number 1094 of the Paul Leslie Hour, the show that's been bringing you conversations with fascinating people from all walks of life on radio and podcasts since 2003. We delve into stories, perspectives, and inspirations to entertain and enlighten our listeners around the world. We are thrilled today to sit down with a respected reporter who's mastered the art of capturing those must-see moments in politics. His viral clips from the Daily Caller consistently spark conversations and go straight to the top of social media feeds. If you would please welcome Jason Cohen.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you as always for joining us on another episode of the Paul Leslie Hour. And today, I am very delighted, I'm honored to welcome a respected reporter, a clipper, Jason Cohen of the Daily Caller News Foundation. Jason, thank you so much for making time to talk to me. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Paul. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, Jason, tell us just a little bit before we get rolling here. What part of the country are you from? Give us a little snapshot of the Jason Cohen we see today.
I was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I only lived there till I was 5, and then I moved to New York City. And I lived there until college. I went to college at Kent State University, which is in Northeast Ohio, like near Akron and Cleveland. And then I moved to Washington, D.C. for my job at the Daily Caller News Foundation. I've been here for about 3 years now.
3 years. Okay. So tell us a little bit about what was the path that led you to becoming a reporter with the Daily Caller.
So I've always wanted to be in media for some reason. Like the first job I ever wanted was to be a baseball announcer. And then my next dream job was actually your job. I really, really wanted to interview cool people. And then I got super into politics, and I first became an intern for an organization called Media Research Center, where I wrote blogs on media clips pretty much. And then I applied for a job here. I got hired as a reporting fellow. It was a 2-year program, and I started off covering business, economics, technology, and it just wasn't a good fit. And since I had the Media Research Center internship, my bosses actually told me to start doing the media clipping, which I had never done. I didn't know if I would be able to do it, but once they taught me how, it was a perfect fit, and I've been loving it ever since. It's been really awesome.
You know, it's such an interesting time period that we are in where people talk about clips, they talk about clippers, and I want to kind of bring this into the current day a little bit and ask you about this. We've had a very interesting turn of events in the world of the Coffee with Scott Adams universe, which you are a part of. And Jason, we've seen Scott say that on Sunday that he was going to appeal to President Trump to get the treatment for his cancer that he needs. And the very same day, we saw all these forces. Can you tell us a little bit about this, Jason? How did this happen? How do you see it? Your perspectives on this whole story.
Yeah, well, just to refresh everybody, Scott announced his cancer diagnosis right when Joe Biden announced his, because he had the same cancer. And I believe he said he didn't want to draw attention to himself, so he thought he would slide under the radar. But of course, a lot of people care about him, so that was not the case. It became a huge story. And President Trump even called him at the time and told him that he would help him with whatever he needs. Now, it got to the point where Scott actually did need it, and he made a post about it that went extremely viral, I think like 20 million views or something. And President Trump responded on it. Don Jr. called him, RFK Jr. called him, Dr. Oz called him, and just everything went super viral, and tons of people were praying for him and saying how much he meant to them. And now, as of today, he announced that Trump actually did help him, and he will be probably getting the Pluvicto treatment that he needed help with. He said the normal process is 2 weeks, and they told him they would speed it up. So he might beyond that within 1 week. So that's the latest development on that. And he wouldn't provide details, but he said he will be taking other treatments too and basically getting the best care possible. So it's a lot more hopeful day than Sunday.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about it, Jason?
It's awesome. I was really, really worried on Sunday when he not only did he make that post, but he also went to the emergency room. So, and he hasn't really said what that was about. So that was very concerning. And just seeing the outpouring of love and prayers was really nice to see. And then it was incredible to see the Trump administration and so many allies come out for him. And a lot of people, including Scott and Elon Musk, highlighted how that would not have happened without X. So it's definitely a good time we're living in that sense that we have X, which is such an amazing platform, and also that the Trump administration is actually an administration that responded to something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, there are many social media platforms. There's Instagram, Facebook, as you mentioned, X. How do you see X in the entire ecosystem of social media?
I think, especially for what I do, I think it's just the best platform for political discourse by far. And just the fact that it's not censored anymore has been such a massive change. You actually feel free posting stuff. You don't worry about getting shadow banned or suspended or banned. So it's been such an absolute game changer, and it's amazing. All the most influential people are on there. The algorithm seems like it's getting really good. We had that mishap about a week ago, but that seems like it's on course. And it's just, I think, essential to the thriving political discourse.
That's what I hear everybody saying again and again, is that the algorithm is getting better and better.
Yeah.
So tell us, Jason, what is a typical day like for you? Just take us through an experience of being a clipper and a reporter with the Daily Caller.
Okay. So as soon as I wake up, which I try to wake up early, like at the latest 6, I would dive right into YouTube and watch whatever good podcasts I find. Depends on the day. Like today's Monday, so we had a Bill Maher Club random episode. So if there's a good guest on there, then that's awesome. Today was Michael Rappaport, and I made a couple really good clips from there today. But yeah, I just immediately dive in, watch as many clips as possible. And then I start pitching my articles around 8:30, and I try to write between 5 and 8 articles per day. So
Wow.
it's a lot of articles and a lot of clips. Yeah, I think what I do that maybe others don't is I just watch so much content. It's insane. Like literally from when I wake up to when I go to sleep, I'm constantly watching content. So that's my whole day. And yeah, during the day, I'm writing articles, and then at night, I'm just making clips for X. And sometimes I write articles on them the next morning, but just constantly grinding.
Would you describe it as grueling?
I think that might have a negative connotation to it, so I wouldn't say that since it's such a positive experience for me. It's definitely like tasking. It is hard work, but yeah, grueling sounds too negative to me. I love it.
You love it. So it is a fun job.
Definitely, it's just really cool making an impact on the news, and I love seeing whether it's like big name pundits reacting to the clips or whether it's my followers and regular X users. I try to read as many comments as I can, and it's the best feeling ever to drive conversation. And like we said, X is such a free platform, so just creating such an awesome discourse is really cool.
So, Jason, has there been a retweet or a comment that you've gotten from perhaps one of the big accounts that you've thought, now this is the stuff?
Good question. I don't know if it was a comment, but the coolest thing that ever happened was do you know Charlemagne the God from the Breakfast Club?
Yeah.
I made a clip of him reacting to the Trump campaign's ad about Kamala Harris supporting sex changes for illegal immigrants and transgender prisoners. And I made a clip of Charlemagne reacting to it, and he said how effective it was and like how against that he was. And it went really viral. And then the Trump campaign reposted it, and they actually turned it into another ad so it was the same ad, but featuring Charlemagne within the ad. And Kamala Harris's leading super PAC estimated that when voters saw it, it's one of them 2.7 percentage points. So, so that was pretty cool.
So you put your crown on for that day. That's great. So you spend a lot of time watching and listening to this content. Who are the podcasters Who are the live streamers that you think are just the cream of the crop?
Of course, we got to start out with Scott Adams. I love how he mixes politics and humor and even the self-help. Like lately, he's been doing a reframe from his book every morning, and today he did a bunch of them. So I love that mixture. And for that reason, I also love Joe Rogan. Same thing. He does a lot of, it's really funny, but it's really been awesome to see him dive into politics. And then Charlemagne the God, same thing. And Stephen A. Smith. I just love the blend of politics with entertainment and comedy. And if you have self-help sprinkled in there too, then that's my favorite.
Very good. Now, has there been a Joe Rogan interview that you've thought was particularly great?
I love his interview with Scott Adams. I love his interview with Charlemagne, and his interviews with Andrew Schultz are pretty funny too. He's another good one who's really gotten into politics lately. He's interviewed Trump, Mamdani, Buttigieg. He's a really fun interview on Joe Rogan.
I asked Scott about this, and I would be curious to get your perspective on it. I was asking him about how, for a little while, it seemed like maybe the public or the popular culture was going to view Joe Rogan as like persona non grata because he had welcomed people like Trump. And then, of course, as we know, Trump won the election, and you saw all these people like Woody Harrelson, Bill Murray, mainstream people, not at all associated with the right, and they went on Joe Rogan anyways. What do you make of that? I mean, it seems like the media landscape, which you have your finger on, is just wide open now.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. The tide has turned so much. People just aren't getting canceled these days, and you hear people on the left even railing against cancel culture all the time now. Like a big example, I made a clip of CNN's Abby Phillip railing against cancel culture, saying the left needs to acknowledge that they were wrong to cancel and stop doing it. And she's huge. She runs the show that has Scott Jennings on CNN at 10 p.m. every night. So her saying that, I think, was a big deal. It exemplifies how cancel culture is just totally out of fashion these days. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people do blame people like Joe Rogan, people like Andrew Schultz for interviewing Trump. They kind of blame them for Trump winning the election, which obviously is an oversimplification. But even still, they're not canceling him anymore. It's just the left actually wants to go on their podcasts, and people aren't avoiding their podcasts at all. So yeah, it's such a big change from just a few years ago.
Absolutely. How do you view the Daily Caller within the broader landscape of media?
Yeah, so I'm with the foundation, like you mentioned at the beginning, so I appreciate that. So it's a little different from the Caller, but yeah, we have an investigative team that does amazing work that the corporate media wouldn't touch. Like we have people who cover crime and extremism and COVID still. There's still bombshells in health in general. So that's really cool that we have those investigative people. And then we also have a bunch of people clipping media like me. And I think we have a really huge influence on the news, and we're doing stuff that the corporate media doesn't do. So we have our own lane, and we make a really big impact. We're cited in congressional testimony, and senators and congresspeople are constantly sharing our work, big media personalities. So we have a huge impact in our own lane, and it's really awesome. I'm grateful to be here.
Wonderful. Now, you mentioned the Charlemagne the God clip, but has there been another clip that has been a favorite of yours that you clipped?
There's so many. Oh, another cool one. When Doge first started, they were arguing that it wasn't transparent. The left was arguing it wasn't transparent, even though they were posting all these updates all the time. And Scott Jennings, who's a real gold mine for us, he was on CNN with Kate Baldwin one morning, and he was clashing with her about how transparent Doge is. And he had her kind of faltering. And it was really a great clip, and Elon Musk ended up reposting it. So that was awesome.
Wow. Is there anybody in politics or the entertainment world, either one, that you have not met that you would like to meet?
Yeah, Charlemagne is probably my top choice, to be honest with you. I've been following him since I was very young, and that's one of my dreams. And also, Joe Rogan is like the pinnacle. Like getting on Joe Rogan's podcast makes people's careers absolutely take off. So that's definitely up there too.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. How do you get a sense for when a certain moment is going to be viral? What is it? What are the criteria that you use where you say, okay, this is the one?
It's got to be unique. So a lot of times it's like a left-wing person saying something that you wouldn't expect them to say, like a left-wing person agreeing with Trump or agreeing with a conservative viewpoint. Those are really good. Obviously, heated clashes, those are always good. Or somebody doing a takedown of somebody, just like really just going off on them. So those are ones. And the last couple I mentioned are kind of negative, but a really cool way I do it sometimes is positive ones. And that's actually the clip I made of your interview with Scott Adams is a good example of that. Scott Adams was just praising Megyn Kelly. And I'm like, that was pretty interesting. It was really like heartfelt and special praise. So sometimes those clips actually take off too. So I like when I can do something positive. So there's a lot of different things, but mainly it has to be something surprising or people saying the quiet parts out loud, just something like really real,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you for clipping that one. I appreciate it a lot. And I had a feeling, you may think, oh, that's revisionism. But while he was saying it, I was like, this is good.
Yeah. That's actually another way I do it. That's a little secret I'll share. Is if the interviewer has a certain reaction to it, then it's like, okay, that if I thought that and the interviewer thought that, then it's probably good. So,
And, it does seem like Megyn Kelly is just like, I just heard that satellite channel that she's on, Triumph, it's now just going to be the Megyn Kelly channel,
oh wow, I didn't know that. You're telling me that for the first time. That's really crazy. Awesome.
Yeah, Triumph is going to a different channel, but then this is going to be the Megyn Kelly channel. So,
Wow.
Yep, she's really just
she's taking off like a rocket. Yeah, she's starting her own network and getting some really cool people on it, like Mark Halperin, who I cover a lot. Yeah, she's doing a lot of really impressive stuff.
What is the best thing about being Jason Cohen?
I just got married, so I gotta say the wife. Got my wife. That's amazing. And great family and great friends. And I spend most of my time working, obviously. The fact that it's going very successfully and that I have the freedom to cover a lot of stuff I'm interested in and that people appreciate it. It's pretty good. I don't want to be too boastful, but yeah, it's really nice. Thank you.
Absolutely. So how did you meet your wife?
We went to college at Kent State University together, and actually we're both Jewish and we both went on the Birthright program. I'm not sure if you and your viewers are familiar with that, but Jewish people have the opportunity to go to Israel for basically for free for a 10-day trip. And it's a really awesome experience no matter what, but it was even better meeting my wife there. We just hit it off and you're just going on hikes, going to awesome restaurants, and it was a really great way to meet.
Wow. Well, I always like to give my guests the stage. It's just an open forum. They can say whatever they want. There's no limits. So, Jason, what would you say to our audience in closing?
All right. First off, everybody, please pray for Scott Adams. Seems like he's on a great path now. Yeah, he still has really serious cancers. I think that's a great message to put out there. And please follow me on Hex at Jason Journo DC. That's another thing. I haven't shared this yet on this interview. Scott Adams actually recommended his viewers to follow me on Coffee with Scott Adams one day. And that was one of the coolest things that's ever happened to me. I think I got like 15,000 or more followers from that. So ever since then, it was like in September, I'm like, I can't let down that endorsement. I got to live up to it. So yeah, I do my best to provide amazing content, and I'd appreciate it if you follow me. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'm following you, Jason, and I recommend everybody to follow you for more great reportage and clips. And Jason, I just like nothing more than behind the scenes looks. It's so interesting. You are a very busy man, a married man, a clipper, a reporter, and yet you made time to talk to me. So thank you, Jason.
It was my pleasure. I really appreciate the opportunity. This was awesome. Thank you, Paul.
Absolutely. And God bless.
God bless, man.
We thank you and appreciate you dropping in for the Paul Leslie Hour today. You can help the Paul Leslie Hour in our mission to provide independent media content like this by visiting www.thepaulleslie.com/support. We truly thank you. This is your announcer speaking. Performance of The Entertainer intro song and Corina Corina outro song, courtesy of John Primorano. Well, that's it for today. So until next time, be safe and be good.